Thank you for participating in Center Theater Group's Young Audiences program. We will now take you on a visual journey to show you what to expect when you arrive at the Music Center on the day of the performance. Here you can see CTG's two theaters, the Mark Taper Forum in blue and the Amundsen Theater in red. As you plan your trip, be sure to get directions to 135 North Grand Avenue. For those coming by bus or car, we are conveniently located close to the 110 and 101 freeways. First, we'll go over the check-in process for groups arriving by bus. When you arrive, be sure that your bus approaches northbound on Hope Street so that you are coming in the correct direction. As you approach, you will see a group of friendly CTG staff and volunteers and Music Center security guards standing on the sidewalk next to the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. Please stop here first for further directions. Two Center Theater Group volunteers will now board your bus, and the Music Center security guards will direct you to your final parking spot. The CTG folks will stay on your bus even as it begins moving towards your final parking destination. One of the volunteers will welcome your group to the theater and provide very important rules and safety information for your time at the theater. The other volunteer will work with you or another chaperone aboard to collect valuable information to check in your group before you disembark. Make sure that upon arrival, you are prepared to share how many students and adults are on your bus. Even if your group is coming in more than one bus, we only want to know the count for the bus you are on. Also, we'll want to know whether you are staying for the post-show discussion and if anyone on the bus requires special seating accommodation. As we collect this information and make announcements, your bus will be traveling towards its final parking spot. The greeter will stay with you on the bus, while the volunteer who collected the information will go collect your seating instructions. We ask you to stay on the bus until our volunteer returns with an official school sign which has seating instructions written on it. The volunteer with your school sign will now lead you to line up outside the theater. Be sure to keep the sign at the front of your group with you or one of your students the whole time you are waiting outside the theater. Please stay in a straight line and be aware of traffic as you are guided toward your line. That's the whole check-in process for groups that arrive in just one bus. If your full group is coming on more than one bus, we may ask that you all gather in our waiting area in front of the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. Once your whole group has arrived, we will lead you to line up outside the theater. Now let's talk about groups that walk or come by car or public transportation. First, please note that we are located close to the Civic Center station on the Metro Red Line. All groups that have traveled on foot or by car or public transit will gather in front of the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion for the check-in process. We'll welcome you, gather your information, and then walk you to your line outside the theater, just as we did with the groups that came by bus. Please also note that if you are driving, you need to notify our Educational Services Coordinator about any parking needs prior to the day of the performance. We'll make arrangements for you to park at a discounted rate in the Music Center garage here on Grand Avenue. Now, safely in line outside the theater, you are wondering, what's next? Feel free to have your group eat snacks or lunches in line as we give your students fun swag and take their photos. Restrooms are also available outside. Typically, the theater opens 15 minutes before the pre-show talk. Once the house opens, we'll get your group seated for your live theater experience. Thank you for participating in Center Theater Group's Young Audiences program. We look forward to seeing you and your students soon.